What's up YouTube? Today we'll be taking a look at a revamped classic, Feel the Rush Control. So Freljord Shadow Isles decks have always been in and out of the meta, but they've always existed since the days of early beta. And Shihu recently just popularized this deck again by placing 3rd place at the World's Championship with this deck in his lineup. It performed incredibly well. It was almost always banned or got a win eventually, and it also performed surprisingly well on ladder. As of right now, I went 6-0 with it so far and climbed to top 40 in Europe, I think, and it does feel really strong. It has tech choices and answers for just about everything in the current meta. So I'll just go over the list and explain why everything is in there real quick. Some early units, Everosen Sentry and Kindly Tavern Keeper, defensive units that also cycle or heal, pretty self-explanatory. Apart from that, we only have Trundle and Tryndamere as units, or 2 champions. Overwhelms, big hitters that we try to get out with Feel the Rush and explosively end the game either in the same attack or with an atrocity on the next attack token turn of our opponent. I also added a commander Ledros in there. I think it's a great additional win condition right now, especially that the ladder is infested with aloof travelers to not run out of top-end win conditions. And also Ledros goes infinite, right, unless he gets silenced or transformed. Just a great addition to make sure you don't run out of steam. And the rest of this deck is basically removal or healing or stalling tools. One exception, Catalyst of Eons, is both a ramping tool and a healing tool. But aside from that, I will go over everything. We have our classic AoE removal, Avalanche, and Blighted Ravine. And Ravine is one of the reasons why this deck really shines in the current meta. It's extremely good against Swarm decks, Aggro decks, and especially also against Rangers Resolve decks, which is why Poppy decks are usually resilient against AoE removal, but you can't resolve because it triggers at round start before your opponent has a chance to ever play a resolve. The box is also a great tech choice for all those swarm heavy decks that also refill very quickly, very mana efficient and high damage output. And a lot of decks and a lot of threats also have 3 HP right now. Everything in Caitlyn Draven, a lot of stuff in these Poppy decks. This hits a lot. Apart from that, we have some more classic Shadow Isles Control in forms of Vile Feast, very efficient removal, Withering Wail. Grasp of the Undying makes a comeback just because, like I said earlier on, same reason why box is here, a lot of 3 HP threats. And you do need quite a lot of healing to be able to hold up with TFGP burn and the Poppy Ziggs burn that is currently very popular and running around everywhere on the ladder. We're a bit lower on Vengeances and Runations than most traditional control decks have been, but the reason is we're exchanging this heart removal for a much more mana efficient one, and that is Despair. Keep in mind we run a lot of healing here. We can take some Nexus damage early on, and Despair is basically just a very, very mana efficient Vengeance. Against a lot of the current control decks or slower decks, it's absolutely insane. Removing a Veigar for 4 mana, removing a Shellfolk for 4 mana, and you're not really taking that much damage. You can definitely afford to do that. But even in tempo matchups, removing a Poppy, you're very willing to take 4 damage for it, or removing a Lulu or something like that. Lee Sin is another great example. It used to always be a struggle to keep 7 mana open to represent removing Lee Sin, and then it just gets bopped by a 4 mana deny. You're never really winning that trade, but with the access of this to Despair, it gets a lot easier. It also is very good against everything that's a bit off meta and a bit slower, Karmas and so on. The last tech choice in here is a Flash Freeze, very, very good against Sion. I might even consider going up a bit. Shihu was playing a Troll Chant instead, but Shihu was also banning Sion discard aggro in his lineup, so you can change this depending on what you expect to see a lot. And that's basically the whole list. Game plan is pretty straightforward. Stall the early game, get control in the mid game, and then finish your opponent with Tryndamere or a Feel the Rush, and if needed, Atrocity. And mulligans are also very matchup dependent. Usually, if we're against a slower matchup, we look for ramp. Sometimes we can even already keep the big threats, especially against Darkness that plays aloof travelers. But if we're up against aggro, just go for early units and matchup specific removal. So against Swarm decks, we really want Avalanche and Ravine. And against certain single target threats, we might need something like Despair. Have fun trying this out. It performed pretty darn well for me, and I hope it does the same for you.
Is it the mustache? Who knows?
Okay. We approach this one. Ravines. I don't know about Catalyst. Probably too slow. Yeah, it's probably too slow. One draw deeper into the deck. It's a tough one. Let's greed and see what happens. Easy matchup since they stopped running Rune Runner. I tend to disagree, but our version is pretty good against it. Like 2 boxes, 2 despairs. So it's either Catalyst into Trundle or Endrant into Ravine.
Skulls, bag loot. Blah, blah. She gets it. Well, aren't we an odd couple? King of trolls coming through.
My steel is yours.
Nothing's tougher than a troll.
As long as he doesn't high roll +2 health, we're fine. And that's the second best roll though. Can easily buff this.
Cool eye patch. You like it? Talk is worthless. We are what we do.
Can he reroll Spell Shield? Yes. But it doesn't help against Ravine. Just Trundle into... Threaten to block this. Think. Despair this is also fine. Okay, no more rally. Why would you buff Akshan even? I didn't want to play more stuff because I really need to bank 3 spell mana for FTR here. That's also why I like keeping the 2 pillars. So both of my big boys can trade. This could still get out of control depending on what my opponent's hand looks like. Because Concerted Strike is pretty decent, but Tryndamere is something that I can barely deal with. Hopefully no Rite of Negation. If that deck runs Rite of Negation, I will publicly shame him. I will openly... I will go to Twitter and call him the worst deck builder of all time. Shut up and fight. So Bruiser is higher priority. He really needs to die. Akshan I only care a bit about. Concerted. It's probably like Concerted plus Shaped. I can't kill Tryndamere, that's why Tryndamere pulls the higher priority target.
We laugh at them.
Means we hit for 10. Top deck Aggro. He's gonna put all the buffs on... or not, okay. I thought he'd make this grow to like 10, give it... or like to 15, try to give it spell shield with the palace and then put a pillar. Pillar army! Box is gonna be insane. This matchup seems quite pillarized. One might say so. Oh no, please don't kill me, Akshan. GG.
Not even a challenge.
Oh no! We got stream sniped. And I didn't put ARAM in this. Right, Despair and Vengeance are good. Don't have anything to deal with Catalyzer on 2 right now though. Could look for Sentry a bit harder. But if I whiff, yeah, no, it's fine. Easy Sentry roll. Oof. Good players. Good players unite.
What wondrous discoveries await below.
Do we potentially trade this with a Catalyzer hit? No, we'd always be one step behind. Can't do anything here. Play Sentry, and that doesn't help.
Well, that's not ours.
They're out there. I'll spot them.
Ledros is in the deck to have more win conditions against decks that run aloof. Should have added ARAM though.
Light the signal fires.
There's a lot of darkness out there. Let's make some of our own.
Nothing escapes my watch. Alert the village.
That's not good. Thanks for the bits, Doctor Strange does. We Avalanche, we don't have mana for Despair, and yeah, I think it's just Avalanche and take 7 to be honest. My research.
Really?
Tavern Keeper. We just need to keep the spare for Veigar open.
This'll take the chill off.
Adding another Runation. Probably too slow in the meta.
That egg. Did it move?
Main deck hapless. Okay.
Big head, big brain.
The Russian mini-morph meta, we play plenty of win conditions. I should probably run an ARAM though, just for the lulz. Just to flex on people. I think we just go proactive here, right? Trenda into Ledros. It's only so much our opponent can mini-morph.
I smell a fight.
Let me check on Runeterra.ar which list Jimmy recently played. 2 mini-morphs, 1 go hard KW. No Vengeance. I'm surprised he's taking Trinda out. I guess before I get the chance to play Field Rush. I feel like people often forget he has Fearsome. If my opponent doesn't play another Fearsome blocker, Jimmy's gonna be in a lot of trouble here.
I will shape death as easily as clay. Go away. What are you made of?
What are you made of? What? What the kind of question is that? Plastic. Copia? Yeah, that's the proper Twitch chat answer. Purely made of copium. Trent was buffed to Fearsome. He's been Fearsome for a while. He's just been buffed to also have Tough. Grasp my own Ledros as a play.
I got a life with.
Looks like a Despair. Don't really want to damage my units here. Despair, Mists Call Despair is a very likely line here.
Keep your distance. Second time's worth.
Should be game.
And light. Keep your distance. Yes, that's it.
So opponent can have mini morph, so this little spider swings as well.
Please, I have connections. You have to get me out of here.
Do we style on him? Oh no, that doesn't work. If I Atrocity Spider, he has another Vile Feast, I cry. GG. That was like rank 1 or rank 2 Europe. A good old Jimmy. This deck seems popular. Good is Avalanche in the early game. It was very nice to clear out the Vi earlier on. Turn 3 Catalyst and 4 Trundle. I'll find something. It's pretty good to mulligan pretty aggressively for top end because of 2 or 3 aloofs in my opponent's deck.
Let us take a peek at life beneath the waves. Deep breath now.
Well, that makes it easy for me. We didn't find Despair yet though, and also no Vengeance. Shellfolk might become a problem. Okay, I don't want to let Trundle get into the line of fire.
Astounding curiosities lie ahead.
Kind of like just Sentry, I think. Or Trundle and take the damage. If I play Sentry, I have double Grasp next turn. Don't have level Trundle on 8 though. Should be fine.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
Maybe it was just Avalanche, to be honest. What about trying to clear her out with AoE? The other line is double Grasp into Trundle into Pillar Field Rush. Alright, so I had to expend 10 mana and 2 cards to remove my opponent's 1/6 mana card, which also generated 2 cards at -1 mana. Seems about fair. My opponent mills themselves though. Oh, never mind. Oh yeah, no, they still do. Ah, right, it generates a mana. I suppose they don't after all. I almost wanna bait them into playing Shellfolk actually.
I'm doing this my way. I try being polite. Trouble coming at ya.
Ready the torches.
That's how we do it.
Light the signal fire. King of trolls coming through.
I'm definitely scared, but it's 100% good to go Ice Pillar first. Just hope we don't get aloofed here. Because it doesn't only level this Trundle, but also the next one that pops from FTR. Don't aloof me, bro. Driven by good in this meta? I think so. So with the resurgence of darkness, like Minimorph is not that big of a deal, but stress defense is very annoying. Let's go.
Tentacles over spectacles, please.
So we're getting Minimorphed here. Means the weakest Trundle pulls Vi. Could pull like this, set my opponent to 1. More like 2 or 3. Wait. 21, they can block 3 damage. Blighted Ravine actually kills them in that case. If they greet the Minimorph on Tryndamere. I think I like this more. Am I missing something? Stress defense? They don't really play it. I suppose Aftershock on Blighted Ravine. Wait, was it this game where my opponent played Archivist? No, that was last game. They have no healing? Yeah, but they can still Aftershock the Ravine. But so far so good. The bait has worked, like pulling with Tryndamere, making the Minimorph look super good. Oh, that should seal the deal for sure. Stress defense is still a card. Waiting for my opponent to tap under either of the two. Prank Atro? Sure, then we have Ravine.
Headed in. Eat this.
Prevents the Vi hit as well. We can kill even through another stress defense here. We do this. So my opponent's only way of surviving right now is Mini-Morph plus Aftershock. Stress defense doesn't do it because I can shoot the blocker with Vi Feast, so we get 1 over when damage through. Win with a landmark. Yeah, I'm waiting for my opponent to tap under Aftershock mana. That seals the deal. GG, that was a cute one. This actually got really close because of our opponent having yoinked the Atrocity, right? Atro and Vi for 10, and then they just either hit with Vi or they put the Mystic Shots Pokesticks on the stack. Can be a very volatile matchup, but I think we played around everything our opponent could have had there.